First, though, this hour, a 15-year-old girl who died after suffering a severe allergic reaction to a Pret sandwich during a flight begged her father for help as she struggled to breathe. On the opening day of Natasha Ednan Laperouse's inquest, the hearing was told how she'd bought a baguette containing sesame seeds at Heathrow Airport, but the ingredient was not listed on the packaging. Alicia Edwards is over at West London Coroner's Court for us. Alicia, just remind us then of the background to this case.
Yes, Anthony, today we've been hearing about what happened on the 17th of July 2 years ago when Natasha was travelling with her father, Nadim, and her best friend for what was going to be a fantastic holiday for 4 days in Nice to mark the beginning of the summer break. And in the morning of the holiday, they went to Pret-a-Manger in Heathrow Terminal 5, where they purchased an olive, tapenade and artichoke baguette. And in the statement this morning, Nadim, Natasha's father, said that she carefully inspected all of the ingredients, as she always has done since she was a child, because of the allergies that she had suffered with for a long time, particularly to those sesame seeds which did turn out to be inside the baguette. It was shortly after, once they'd actually boarded the flight to Nice, that she started to complain to her father of having an itchy throat, and also showed him that she had red blotches on her stomach, which he described as looking like she'd been stung by a jellyfish. Shortly after, they went to the toilet on the plane, where he administered her 2 shots of her EpiPen. And it was then in a heartbreaking statement this morning that she said to him, "Daddy, help me, I can't breathe." They asked for any doctors on board, and a junior doctor who, speaking today, said he'd only graduated a day before, was able to help her and administer CPR on the plane. Shortly after they landed in Nice, she was taken to a hospital where her condition deteriorated significantly and she was going in and out of consciousness. It was then that Nadim took the decision to phone her mother and brother and give them the chance to say goodbye to her over the phone. A few hours after she lost her life, Nadim contacted his elderly mother, who was living in London, and asked her to go to a Pret-a-Manger store and have a look at the ingredients listed on the baguette that she'd eaten that morning. And she saw that there was no listing of those sesame seeds, so she went to someone working in Pret and asked them to look behind the counter, where they brought out a book and it listed the ingredients as having sesame seeds baked into the bread. Speaking as a representative of Pret-a-Manger today, Oliver Campbell QC said that it had never been something that Pret-a-Manger had done, listing ingredients clearly, and that they'd always just labelled that they had natural, healthy ingredients on their packaging.
And Alicia, aside from this detailed statement from the teenager's father, who else have we heard from today?
Yes, of course. Well, this is just the start of 5 days of the inquest, which is going to go on until the end of the week. This morning, we also heard from the Pret-a-Manger store manager at Heathrow Terminal 5 at the time, who said that they do list their allergies on the top right-hand side of the refrigerators in the store. Also speaking today, of course, I said, was the junior doctor who was on the plane. We can also expect to hear from more members of staff who were aboard the flight, as well as the captain himself of that British Airways flight. There has been some questions today about why that plane didn't turn around, so that's something else that will come out during the course of the week here. But today has very much been about hearing from her family about what happened that day, and of course the way that it's impacted the family in the following 2 years. And they said ahead of today's inquest in a statement that everything we say and do is a reminder that she isn't with us. Her empty bedroom, school uniform hanging in her wardrobe, her holiday bag packed for her holiday in Nice has never been unpacked. We can't bear to. In the same statement, they said that they had planned a fantastic summer with lots of holidays before she sadly passed away. The inquest here continues for the next 5 days.
Containing sesame seeds at Heathrow Airport, but the ingredient was not listed on the packaging. Well, Alicia Edwards is over at West London Coroner's Court for us this evening. Alicia, just remind us then of the background.
Well, it was on the 17th of July 2 years ago in 2016 that Natasha and her father Nadim and her best friend were going on a holiday for 4 days to Nice, and they were departing from Heathrow Airport from Terminal 5, and in the morning of their flight they went to Pret-a-Manger to go and get some food, and Natasha selected a baguette which had olive, tapenade and artichokes in it, and she'd carefully checked the ingredients. It was heard in the inquest this morning that she was always very careful about what she ate because of those allergies she had, and checked with her father before she ate the baguette. It was then afterwards on the flight that she started to become unwell and complained of having an itchy throat, and also showed her father red blotches which she had in her stomach, which he described in his statement as looking like she'd been stung by a jellyfish. Shortly after, they went to the toilet on the plane where he administered her EpiPens, giving her 2 shots. But in a heartbreaking statement to the court today, he described the moments when she said to him, "Daddy, help me, I can't breathe." A junior doctor on the flight also helped by giving her CPR until they landed in Nice, and she was then rushed by paramedics to a hospital nearby, but her health quickly deteriorated from there, and her father Nadim took the decision to call her mother and her brother and give them the chance to say goodbye to her over the phone as she was going in and out of consciousness. Now, after she passed away that day, Nadim asked his mother back here in London to go to Pret-a-Manger and look at the ingredients listed on the sandwich, and it did not show that there were any signs of sesame seeds in the sandwich listed on the ingredients there. She then went and spoke to staff behind the counter who showed her a book which had in it saying that the bread itself had been baked with sesame seeds inside. Now, a representative for Pret-a-Manger today, Oliver Campbell, has said that Natasha's father must have been mistaken because Pret do not typically list their ingredients.
Alicia, as part of this today, we've also heard from others, haven't we? Just give us a sense of what they had to say.
We have. We also heard from the manager who was working at the Pret-a-Manger in Terminal 5 at the time, and he said that allergens were usually listed on the top right-hand side of the refrigeration cabinet where she would have got the sandwich from. Also expecting to hear this week from British Airways staff, from the cabin crew and also the captain, because there have been questions raised about why that flight wasn't turned around and continued to go to Nice as Natasha was getting increasingly ill. But today has very much been about what happened that day and the experience that her family, and particularly her father, had of her health deteriorating so quickly. And ahead of today's inquest, her family did make a statement saying how this has impacted them, saying that everything we say and do is a reminder that she isn't with us. Her empty bedroom, school uniform hanging in her wardrobe, her holiday bag packed for her holiday in Nice has never been unpacked. We can't bear to. In the same statement, they said that they had plans for a fantastic summer with lots of holidays planned as a family. But the inquest here continues until Friday.
OK, that is Alicia Edwards for us, who has been following the first day of that inquest. Let's move on to one or two other headlines.